Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affair of 10th of December 2020. You can see here the two best images of the day, but today we will discuss 9 to 10 very important and the most important current affairs. So watch the video till the end. But before proceeding, I want to discuss about Affairs Cloud subscription, that you can buy our Affairs Cloud subscription with two methods. You can visit our website, that is affairscloud/current affairs, or you can directly go to the description box of this video. There is a link given, and by clicking on that link, you can directly visit the subscription area. What you will get in the subscription? You will get the daily current affairs, and in the daily current affairs section, you will get the theoretical current affairs as well as the question and answer format current affairs. Next section, there is a weekly PDF and all the current affairs arranged according to the week wise. Next is the weekly test. That is very important because you can evaluate yourself by this weekly test. And next and the most important section is the monthly PDF. And in the monthly PDF section, you will get the 5 PDFs. And in the first PDF, you will get the theoretical current affairs of the month. In the second PDF, you will get the question and answer PDF. It means all the theoretical current affairs will be provided to you in the form of question and answer, so that you can revise and retain the current affairs for long time period. Next, pocket PDF, as the name suggests, it is very important before your exam because you can revise the current affair very quickly. Next is banking, finance and the economy PDF, guys. It is very important for those aspirants who are preparing for the banking exam. And last but not the least is the question and answer PDF top 100 current affairs. It means top 100 current affairs of the month will be provided to you in the form of question and answer, so that you can revise the top 100 current affairs very easily. So this subscription comes at very minimal cost, guys. If you use this code, that is ASH10, then you will get the 10% extra discount on that minimal cost. And guys, from my side, if you visit the site or if you go to the description box link, then you will definitely surprised to see the price. And you will get the 10% discount on that minimal price if you use this code ASH10. Now let's start today's current affair, that is 10th of December 2020. And here is our first section, that is the most important questions. Here is our first question. Which person from India made it to the world's 100 most powerful women 2020 list announced in the 17th annual Forbes Power List? Two things are important under this section. One is the annual Forbes Power List, and this list is related to the women's. Remember, this list is related to the women. And from Indian side, 2 women is basically made it to the world's 100 most powerful women list. Remember, 2 Indian women made it to the world's 100 most powerful women 2020 list. And who is the first? That is Nirmala Sitharaman. Remember the name, and I think all the students know her. Nirmala Sitharaman, our finance minister. You can also see in the picture that Nirmala Sitharaman ji. And who is this second woman? Second woman is Kiran Majumdar-Shah. Remember the name, Kiran Majumdar-Shah. She is currently founder and chairman and the managing director of Biocon Limited. Biocon Limited. Remember this. This is very important question, or the most important question you can mark under, because there are 2 women who are considered under the 100 most powerful women list, and it is by the Forbes. That's why it is the most important question. Otherwise, we have to include it under the very important section, because it is the Forbes list. That's why it is the most important, and it is the most powerful woman, Nirmala Sitharaman and Kiran Majumdar. Nirmala Sitharaman ranked 41 out of the 100. 41 out of the 100. You can see here, this is the second time she features in the list, because in 2019 she was ranked at 34, and in 2020 he missed some places, but she was ranked at 41st position. So remember, this is the second time that she features in the list. In 2019 she ranked at 34, and in 2020 she was ranked at 41st position. And India's leading businesswoman Kiran Majumdar-Shah, she is currently chairman of Biocon Limited, and she ranked at 68th position out of 100. So remember these 2 women, because out of 100, only 2 women ranked from the Indian side. The list also saw the biggest jump in the ranking of the 3rd position by the Kamala Harris. And you know about the Kamala Harris, Vice President-elect of the USA, because the Joe Biden becomes the president in the January 2021, and Kamala Harris will become Vice President. And Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina Wajid, is ranked at 39. That's 2 places ahead from the you can say Nirmala Sitharaman, because Nirmala Sitharaman ranked at 41st and Prime Minister of Bangladesh Sheikh Hasina ranked at 39. So remember these ranking because these are very important. These are very important if you are talking about any type of exam. You can also see the list here that Nirmala Sitharaman ranked at 41st, Finance Minister of India, 68th Kiran Majumdar Shah, founder and chair and managing director of Biocon Limited. First rank goes to Angela Merkel. All you know that Angela Merkel is the Chancellor of the Germany. And the second rank goes to the Christine Lagarde, President of European Central Bank. European Central Bank. Kamala Harris, all you know, Vice President elect of the United States. Remember these ranking, like first ranking is very important, Angela Merkel, and remember the two from the Indian side. You can also remember the Bangladesh Prime Minister ranking, that is 39th ranking. So remember this. Move to next question. What is the name of digital platform and mobile application for real-time monitoring of COVID-19 vaccine delivery and recording data? Government of India, basically Ministry of Health, recently launched a digital platform and a mobile application so that the vaccine delivery and the recording data can be monitored on the real-time basis. If we are talking about the COVID-19. Then what is the answer, guys? Answer is very simple. Answer is CoWIN. Remember, it is most important question, mark under the most important section, CoWIN. You can see here, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare develops mobile app that is known as the CoWIN for real-time monitoring of the COVID-19 vaccination. You can see here, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has developed CoWIN, a digital platform and mobile application for real-time monitoring of the COVID-19 vaccine delivery and the recording data. The platform can be used by people to register themselves for vaccination. It means on the app, you can register yourself for the vaccination so that the vaccination can be easily distributed. The app can be used to send real-time data of temperature of cold storage facilities to the main server so that this vaccine can be preserved. CoWIN will also help the government to monitor the entire vaccination process so that it can be easily accessible and affordable to every person. CoWIN app will have 5 modules, that is administrator, registration, vaccination, beneficiary acknowledgement and report. It means all these are combined under the CoWIN app. So remember, this is very important. And who is the Minister of Health and Family Welfare? That is Harshvardhan. Remember the name of the application that is developed by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and name is CoWIN. Remember this, very important and the most important question. Now move to next question. IOC added dash as medal events in 2024 Paris Olympic Games, because you know 2020 Olympic Games will be held in Tokyo, because due to COVID-19 it was postponed to 2021. It means it will be held in Tokyo. And in 2024 Olympic Games will held in Paris. And one new event, medal event is added in 2024 Paris Olympic Games. And it is added by IOC, it means International Olympic Committee. And answer is, guys, very interesting. Answer is breakdance. Remember, it is most important question because a new type of the category is added and it is unexpected category, that is break dance. Remember, it will be held in 2024 Paris Olympic Games. You can see here, break dancing get Olympic status to debut in Paris in 2024. Earlier, 3 more categories added, but these 3 categories will be debut in Tokyo Olympics in 2021. But this category will debut in the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. You can see here, the International Olympic Committee Executive Board added breaking, a competitive form of the break dancing, and 3 other sports like skateboarding, sport climbing and surfing to medal events program in the Olympic Games. But these 3 other games like skateboarding, sport climbing, surfing will be debut in the 2020 Tokyo Summer Olympics, which will be held in 2021 due to COVID-19. But in 2024, there will be one game, that is breakdancing will make their debut. So remember this is the most important question. And remember IOC organization is very important. Where is headquarter of IOC? IOC headquarter is in Switzerland. And in Switzerland, there is a place that is known as Lausanne. Remember, Lausanne. So under this, the headquarter is IOC. And who is the president? President is Thomas Bach. Remember, Thomas Bach, Thomas Bach. Remember the name. He is currently the president of International Olympic Committee. So in 2020, it will be held in Tokyo. In 2024, it will be held in Paris. And guys, remember one more important thing. Beyond 2024, you can also remember the 2028 event place. And in 2028, the Olympics will be held in Los Angeles, California, United States. Remember Los Angeles, California, United States in 2028. Remember this thing. This is again very important. Move to next question. Who is appointed as the Chief Justice of Common High Court of UT of Jammu and Kashmir and UT of Ladakh? Mark under the most important question. The students who have exam in the December session, in the January session, then this question is the most important. Otherwise, you can mark this question in the very important section. That who is appointed the Chief Justice of Common High Court of UTs of Jammu and Kashmir and UT of Ladakh? And answer is Rajesh Bindal. Justice Rajesh Bindal become the Chief Justice of Common High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and the Ladakh. You can see here Justice Rajesh Bindal appointed as the acting Chief Justice of Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh High Court. Earlier, the Chief Justice was Geeta Mittal. Remember, Justice Geeta Mittal was former Chief Justice of UT of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. And now the answer is Rajesh Bindal. And remember guys, there are total 25 high courts in India. 25 high courts in India. But only two states only two UTs are there who have their high courts. Like one is the Delhi. You have to remember, Delhi has its own high court, and one is the Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu Kashmir has its own high court, but other UTs have jurisdiction to the other high courts. Like I am reminding you, like first you can recall Chandigarh. Chandigarh is a UT, but Chandigarh jurisdiction goes to Punjab and Haryana High Court. Punjab and Haryana High Court. Next, the UT is Puducherry. Puducherry jurisdiction goes to Madras High Court. Madras High Court. Next, Andaman and Nicobar, very important. Andaman jurisdiction goes to West Bengal. West Bengal. Next is the Lakshadweep. Lakshadweep jurisdiction goes to Kerala. Kerala High Court. Remember. Next is the Daman and Diu and Dadar and Nagar Haveli. Daman and Diu and Dadar and Nagar Haveli. This jurisdiction goes to Bombay High Court. It means Maharashtra. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 UTs, and you can see here. One is the Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, Jammu Kashmir High Court. And last one is the Delhi. Delhi stands for the Delhi High Court. So there are only two UTs who have their own high courts. So remember Jammu and Kashmir and Delhi. Otherwise, all UTs have their jurisdiction to the other high courts or the state's high court. Remember this. This is very important. You can see here Justice Rajesh Bindal. Remember the name Rajesh Bindal. Move to next question, and it's our very important question section. So guys, we are proceeding to the first question in the very important questions. Here is our first question. Which state launched employment generation project? Livelihood generation for returned migrant worker project. Very important, because two things are important under this question. One is the state government, name of the state government. Second, they are starting the employment generation program for the migrant workers, who are coming to the state due to the COVID-19. So they are providing some type of the livelihood program so that they can earn some type of the money, or the state government can train them so that they can get the employment. And answer is Mizoram, and the state is northeastern state, and answer is Mizoram. You can see here, Mizoram Chief Minister launches employment generation project to assist migrant workers. You can also see here, it is to assist migrant workers who lost their job in the COVID-19 pandemic. I already covered that it is because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The total outlay of the project is 3.3 crores under Mizoram Youth Commission. And guys, the project is funded by the Northeast Council. This will provide skill-based training and entrepreneurship to over 2,600 workers through 7 components. They basically provide the training, like home-based food processing sector, tour guides, e-commerce training. There are a lot of sectors under which they will be provided training. There are also entrepreneurship skill training centers. There are skill training components for 150 people in the labor employment also. So there are 7 components under which 2,600 workers will be provided training. It will be implemented in all the 11 districts of the Mizoram, targeting 550 candidates under this component. So most important thing under this question is the name of the state, that Mizoram is basically providing this type of the facility to the migrant workers for the employment generation. What is the capital of Mizoram? That is Aizawl. Remember, capital is Aizawl. And who is the chief minister? Zoramthanga. 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 Remember, Zoramthanga. And who is governor? Governor is Sridharan Pillai. Sridharan Pillai. P-I-L-A-I. Sridharan Pillai. And remember, there is one most important national park, that is Murlen National Park. M-U-R-L-E-N. Murlen National Park in Mizoram. So mark under the important question or the very important question, because of this national park, because of this information like capital, chief minister and the governor. This is the very important question. Move to next question. Who wrote a book titled Dharma or Dharma, Decoding the Epics for a Meaningful Life? And it is a very important question. Mark under the very important section, because the author is very important and the most famous author related to the mythology sector. And answer is Amish Tripathi. Remember, what is the answer? Amish Tripathi. You can see the cover page of the book. He is Amish Tripathi, and he wrote Dharma or the Dharma, Decoding the Epics for a Meaningful Life. And this book is co-authored by Bhavna Roy, and she is the sister of Amish Tripathi. Remember, she is the sister of Amish Tripathi. You can see here, Amish Tripathi authored his second non-fiction book titled Dharma, Decoding the Epics for Meaningful Life, co-authored by his sister Bhavna Roy. This book provides philosophical lesson extracted from the ancient Hindu epics. It means they are basically relating the mythological things to the meaningful life, so that everyone can get benefit from the past. This is the main criteria of this book. The book is published by Westland Publication. Not important. Publication here is not so much important, and set to release in December 2020. So, so many books are written by Amish Tripathi. One of my favorite, like Shiva trilogy, it is related to the fictional Shiva, like Immortals of Meluha, the Vajuputras, and you can say the Nagas. These are the three trilogy series of the Amish Tripathi related to Shiva. Second, he also released some other fictional novels like related to the Ram, Sita and Ravan. This is also a Ram trilogy, you can say. Now he is now writing the Dharma, Decoding the Epics for a Meaningful Life. Remember the name of the book. Move to next question. Which bank becomes designated bank for all financial transactions under National Health Mission in West Bengal? Mark under the very important section, because there are two things very important. One is related to the name of the bank. Second, becomes the designated bank for all financial transactions related to the National Health Mission only in the West Bengal, not for the other states. This bank is only doing the transactions, all transactions related to National Health Mission in West Bengal. And answer is, guys, ICICI. Remember, Industrial Credit and Investment Corporation of India started the financial transactions of all National Health Mission beneficiaries in West Bengal. Remember, the National Health Mission here is very important, because West Bengal state is very important due to the elections in 2021. So remember about West Bengal. Chief Minister is Mamata Banerjee, capital is Calcutta, Governor is Jagdeep Dhankar. Remember, Jagdeep Dhankar, D-H-A-N-K-H-A-R, Dhankar. Remember, you can see here, ICICI Bank, designated bank for all financial transactions under National Health Mission for the state of the West Bengal. You can see here, this is on the lines of West Bengal government decision of implementing a single bank account system for the National Health Mission, so that customers can get the services at very hassle-free cost. So this is the main implementation of the West Bengal government. Under this, all financial transactions will be conducted through online software integrated with the bank accounts. Even you can avail through the ICICI Bank app. It is operated under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. I already told you who is the minister, Mr. Harshvardhan. Harshvardhan is the Minister of the Health and Family Welfare. Now, moving to the next question, but here is a name important of the state, that is West Bengal. There are very important national parks and the biosphere reserve in West Bengal. One is Sundarban Biosphere Reserve. Sundarban Biosphere Reserve. Next is Jaldapada National Park. Jaldapada National Park is there. Next is Gorumara National Park. Gorumara National Park. Next, Mahananda National Park is there. Mahananda. There is a Baksa Tiger Reserve. So these five are very important. Sundarban Biosphere Reserve, out of 18, one biosphere reserve is in West Bengal. Next is Jaldapada National Park, Baksa Tiger Reserve, Gorumara, and Mahananda. So these are very important in the West Bengal. Move to next question. Who won 2020 Goldman Environmental Prize Asia category? Because there are 6 categories according to the different continents. So I am talking about only the Asia's category. And who won this Goldman Environmental Prize? And friends, this Goldman Environment Prize is also known as, remember, this is very important thing, Green Nobel Prize. It is also known as the Green Nobel Prize, and very important question. And from the Asia category, this prize is won by Paul Sintua. Remember, Paul Sintua, he won this Goldman Environmental Prize from the Asia side. From which country he belongs to? He belongs to Myanmar. Remember, he belongs to Myanmar. You can see the picture of him, that is Paul Sintua. Myanmar indigenous activist won the Goldman Environmental Prize 2020. You can see also here, the 2020 Goldman Environmental Prize ceremony was held virtually on the 30th of November 2020, which recognizes 6 grassroots environmental activists annually from each of the world's 6 continents, like one from the Africa, one from Asia, Europe, islands and the island nations, North America and the South and the Central America. South and the Central America is combined here. The prize is also known as the Green Nobel Prize. Green Nobel Prize, and there are 6 categories. And who won this award? You can visit our website. There are 6 names, but these are not important. You can just remember the Asias that are very important. Asias, that's why I covered the Asias. Because Myanmar is a neighboring country, so that's why it is very important. And this award is known as Goldman Environmental Prize, and its headquarters is in USA, United States of America. Remember this. Now move to next question. What is the name of Israeli anti-drone system which was recently procured by Indian Navy? A new type of the anti-drone system which was procured by the Indian Navy, and it is acquired from which country? It is acquired from the Israel. Remember, it is acquired from the Israel. So there are 2 things which are important. What is the name of this anti-drone system? And second, this anti-drone system is acquired from which country, or bought from which country? That is from Israel, and it is acquired by the Indian Navy. And the name is Smash 2000. Remember, the name of this anti-drone system is Smash 2000, marked under the very important section. You can see here, Indian Navy finalized procurement of anti-drone system that is known as Smash 2000. It is capable of destroying high-speed enemy drones, because in recent days you can see in the newspaper that so many drones are coming from the different neighboring countries, and they are basically watching our secrets. So that's why there is a need to destroy these drones, and it is very capable to destroy these high-speed enemy drones. It is manufactured by Israel firm Smart Shooter. It will be used in border security, bases and strategic facility protection, so that maximum to maximum security can be increased at the border level as well as the internal level. The Smash Fire control system are electro-optical rifle sights which will be mounted on assault rifles. It means you can carry these anti-drone system from the assault rifle, such as AK-47 or 103 rifles. They are expected to be delivered by 2021, because we just finalized the deal, but they will deliver these things in 2021. And guys, what is the range of this anti-drone system? Range is 120 meters. 120 meters. So remember, the range is 120 meter. And what about Indian Navy? Indian Navy Admiral Karambir Singh. Remember, who is the Chief of Naval Staff? Admiral Karambir Singh. Let's move to next question. Now, let's move to the third section, that is important question, because we covered the most important in the important section. Now we are moving to the important questions. And here is first question in the important questions. Which organization launched the second edition of State of Education Report for India 2020, Technical and Vocational Education and Training? It means this organization presented India a report which is named as State of Education Report for India 2020. It means they are telling the scenario of the education, especially in the technical and the vocational education and training. So it is very important if you are talking about the educational system of India, because the government can evaluate that where education is lacking and how many people are basically getting the education. And this report is launched by UNESCO. Remember which organization? UNESCO launched this type of the educational report for India. And guys, this is very important. Educational first state of educational report for India. And another organization is basically launching a report on education, especially for the India, and it is UNESCO. You can see here the report is an overview of the present capacity of TVET, that is technical and vocational education training, provision through short term and long term courses. It is to support the government of India by acting as a reference tool for enhancing and influencing the policies and programs related to the skill development, so that in future government can make some type of the policy and program according to this report, that how much students or the youngsters are getting the technical education or the skills, so that the maximum to maximum programs can be increased or the enhanced. The sustainable development goal number 4, because total 17 goals are there in the sustainable development goals, which we have to achieve by the year of 2030. So the SDG 4 represents quality education. As per Niti Aayog, that is the National Institution for Transforming India, Aayog 2019 performance of state and the UTs on the SDG report, Himachal Pradesh is performing best in SDG 4. And you have to remember this is again important thing, that which state in 2019 report of the Niti Aayog become the top most state who performed well in the SDG 4 goal of the quality education, and that state is, guys, Himachal Pradesh, because maximum score of 81 is gained by the Himachal Pradesh, because others there are also other states like Kerala is there who scored 70, and there is a UT Chandigarh. Chandigarh also scored 70. So remember this. And the organization is important here, UNESCO. UNESCO's headquarters is in Paris. And who is the Director General? Audrey Azoulay. Remember who is the Director General of UNESCO? Audrey Azoulay. Now moving to next section, and it is a picture section, and you can learn from the picture. Former Indian cricketer Parthiv Patel retired from all forms of cricket. So remember, very important key player of India, and even he was also opener of India. Parthiv Patel retired from all forms of cricket. And remember, he was the India's youngest wicketkeeper. He was just 17-year-old when he joined cricket as a wicketkeeper. So he was the youngest wicketkeeper at the age of 17 and ended his international career with 25 test matches, 38 ODIs and 2 T20s at international level. Parthiv Patel captained India at the 2002 Under-19 World Cup. That's why he was recognized in the national team. He captained also Gujarat team in the Vijay Hazare Trophy in 2015. So this is the main important information. So two organizations are related to the cricket. One is the BCCI, second is ICC. And most important here is the ICC, because recently the chairman of ICC changed and a new person is elected, Greg Barclay. Remember who is elected as the chairman of ICC? Greg Barclay. And who is the CEO? Manu Sahni. And where is the headquarters of ICC? Dubai. And what about Board of Control for Cricket in India? That is BCCI. Headquarters in Mumbai, all you know. President, all you know, Saurav Ganguly. And who is the secretary? Jai Shah. Jai Shah. He is son of Amit Shah. Remember, Jai Shah. So moving to next question. 9th of December is celebrated as Anti-Corruption Day. So mark under the most important day, Anti-Corruption Day. So why this day is celebrated? So very simple. This is just to raise awareness about corruption and ways through which it can be reduced. So India is under the high corruption scenario. So that's why we have to reduce some type of the corruption, so that we can raise awareness about corruption and ways through which it can be reduced. And friends, what is the theme of this day? Theme is the Recover with Integrity. Because this day also aims to create awareness of the role of United Nations Convention against corruption and its role in combating and preventing corruption. Because there is a very much need to eradicate corruption. So that's why the theme is Recover with Integrity. And you can remember one more important thing about the Corruption Day. You can remember the Corruption Index also. Because in January 2020, the corruption index was also released with the data of 2019. Or you can in simple words say the corruption index of 2020. Basically it is known as 2019, but it is released in January 2020. And in corruption index 2019, India's rank was very poor. India's rank was 80. Very important, India's rank was 80. Earlier it was 78, but India slipped by 2 ranks, and India's rank was 80. And which country got the first rank? First rank goes to Denmark, and last rank goes to Somalia. So you can remember this. This is very important information, that what is the rank of India in the corruption index 2019. India's rank is 80 out of 180 countries. Now move to next question, and there is another day, December 8, 2020, 53rd submarine day observed by the Indian Navy. So why this day is celebrated like submarine day? It is to remember and honor the submarines and martyrs of the Indian Navy who lost their lives to serve the nation. In the year 2020, Indian Navy observed the 53rd submarine day. And you have to remember one more important thing. On the 8th of December, first submarine inducted in Indian Navy, that is known as INS Kalvari. Remember INS Kalvari. INS Kalvari, a Foxtrot class submarine into Indian Navy in 1967. In 1967, it was inducted in the Indian Navy. It was the first submarine which was inducted in Indian Navy. INS Kalvari. Remember, that's why there is a day that is known as Submarine Day. You can remember one more important thing, that this year 2020 year also marks the commencement of 50th year of one submarine. 50th year, it means the golden year of the one submarine, that is known as INS Veer Bahu. INS Veer Bahu. This is the name of the another submarine, and we are marking the 2020 as the 50th anniversary of this submarine. So remember this. And move to our last section, that is one-liner important point. First here is the RBI cancelled license of Karad Janta Sehkari Bank Maharashtra. It is a Maharashtra based bank, and RBI cancelled to provide the license to this bank. So this is not so much important, just remember the name once. Karad Janta Sehkari Bank, and this bank belongs to Maharashtra. Next is Asian Development Bank approved United States, that is US $300 million loan for primary healthcare program in the urban areas. So due to COVID-19, health system was so much affected. That's why Asian Development Bank is providing a lot of money as a loan for primary healthcare program in the urban areas of all India. And this program will be implemented at all India level. So remember about ADB. The important thing is Asian Development Bank. It is established in 1966. And who is the president? Mast Sugu. Where is the headquarters? Manila, Philippines. And member, how many countries are members? 68 countries are member, including India. Next, India drops to 9th spot in global spam call tally. That is 4th edition of Insights report by Truecaller. Truecaller, you all know that you can trace the number, and you can contact the name of the caller. And India drops to the 9th spot in the global spam call tally. So this list is released by a company named as the Truecaller. It means India ranked 9th in the list of countries affected by the spam calls in 2020. And if you are recalling this question as a state-wise, then Gujarat received the most spam calls. You can remember this, just a little info. Next is the 6th Indian-Japan ICT Joint Working Group meet held virtually. And the important thing under this question, that it is India and Japan. Second important thing here is ICT, that both countries packed under the information and communication technology. And the important thing about Japan, the Prime Minister of Japan, Yoshihide Suga, is a new Prime Minister of Japan. Remember. Next, Oman announces directive to form friendship association with India. Now here the important country is Oman. It means both the countries, that is Oman and India, want to establish Oman-India Friendship Association. And the establishment of Friendship Association will be the first ever in the West Asia region. Remember the country name, that is Oman. Capital is Muscat and currency is Rial. And capital is Muscat. Now next is WCF Niti Aayog partnered to provide training to country's children and youth on the cyber security. And this WCF is known as WNS Care Foundation. It is a private company of WNS Global Services, and under the corporate social responsibility, they want to train our children and youth, and they want to educate them, like children and the youths, about the cyber security. So remember, it is the India's first holistic cybersecurity educational portal that is known as Cyber Smart. Remember, that is known as Cyber Smart. You have to remember the name of this portal. This is the India's first holistic cybersecurity educational portals. It basically you can say eliminate all the cyber threats by providing the education. All the cyber threats by providing the education. So remember, and Niti Yog is also there, and Niti Yog's one program is Atal Innovation Mission. Under this it will be started. Atal Innovation Mission. And Atal Innovation Mission is a flagship initiative of Niti Yog. Who is the mission director of Atal Innovation Mission? That is the most important question. R. Ramanan. Remember, R. Ramanan is currently the mission director of Atal Innovation Mission. So this is very important things which we covered today. So mark my all the important points and write on your notebook. So guys, this is all for today. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell button so that we can make more videos by this inspiration, and you can also receive the notification on time by pressing this bell button. And guys, provide 700 plus likes, because it will motivate us to provide you video on different topics, and we can provide you video on the even different subjects like polity, history, economics, geography. But you have to firstly provide us 700 plus likes so that we can motivate ourselves. And it is Affairs Cloud promise that it will boost your confidence in the general aware section. And it is my personal promise that if you're watching the videos regularly and if you are reading the PDFs daily, then it means your current affairs section will go strong, because 90% current affairs which are coming in exams are covered by our PDFs and the videos. So this is very important thing. And guys, thank you for watching this video and keep supporting us. Thank you and take care.